The BFI is ultimately about tackling some important issues in economics and the kind of issues that economists are trying to solve. But the path to solving those involves kind of a full frontal assault on the empirical front, but also a full assault on the theoretical front, developing the theory and developing the tools that are going to help us get there.
Absolutely.
And I guess, can you talk a little bit about your experience at the BFI and how you found those different aspects of things and how they fit together in your mind?
No, I think that's exactly right. And I think that I've benefited in my research from talking to economic theorists and also talking to applied researchers and thinking about the practical concerns of what we actually need of a model of an auction in order to make it empirically relevant. The Becker Friedman Institute is constantly bringing together this amazing set of visitors together with the community at the University of Chicago, and you get applied researchers talking to economic theorists, you get macroeconomists talking to microeconomists, talking to trade economists. So that is a tremendous benefit to me personally as a researcher, but also I think to the profession. For facilitating a dialogue that wouldn't happen otherwise.
So having a very narrow brand would kind of be running in the opposite direction of what we're about here, which is we're not saying there's one way to run a railroad, that really there's a variety of approaches that are stronger when those approaches are side by side and they can interact. And that's a big part of what I think we try to do here at the BFI, is encourage that interaction between micro and macro, between historians and people only interested in today, between theory-oriented and empirically oriented, econometrics and theory. I mean, and I guess you can say from your experience that's proved to be valuable.
Absolutely.
Is it unique?
There are some unique aspects of the Becker Friedman Institute and the University of Chicago. I think that this school and community is exceptional amongst places in the level of interaction and communication that goes on between economists in different subfields and different specialties. People just talk to each other a lot. And I think that's exceptional. And I think the Becker Friedman Institute is exceptional amongst institutes dedicated to fostering economic research in the degree to which we want to bring together researchers from all fields of economics. There are other institutes out there that I think of as more, say, solely theory-oriented, or other economics institutes that are more oriented towards applied work or empirics. But I think the Becker Friedman Institute tries to span all of those different aspects of economic research.
Speaking as somebody who's involved in the Becker Friedman Institute, I think another key aspect, and you touched on it very eloquently in what you discussed, and it's not just having a portfolio of, oh yeah, we got some theorists and they're over here, and we got some empirical guys and they're over here, and we got some macro guys that are over here and micro guys. It's not that we have this like portfolio of separate pieces. We really think putting them in a pot and kind of stirring them up is really the way to make the soup.
I agree.
And they all end up producing different outputs. Not like we homogenize the output, but I think our view is they'll produce better output if they've had a chance to rub with the other molecules out there that are doing something different.
I think that's right. I think you don't want theory just going off in its own direction. You want it to be grounded in practical and important questions. And I think that you're more likely to get that when you have a continuous dialogue between theorists and between applied economists.
It's a very researcher-driven institute, and I hope you've found that to be true while you've been here.
I have. I'm honored and extremely flattered by the role that I've been given and allowed to take. I think it's becoming more common in economics for young economists just coming out of graduate school to do a postdoc for a year or two before starting a position as an assistant professor. The research fellow position at the Becker Friedman Institute is really unique amongst those postdoc opportunities in the degree to which you can become participant in helping to run the Institute. I think that most of the time you're much more of a passive participant, but here there really is an opportunity to contribute.
When you come to the Becker Friedman Institute as a research scholar or a research fellow, or come as a visitor, you're not just visiting the BFI and the circle of people who were at the Becker Friedman Institute. You're really visiting the economics community.
That's right.
And Chicago more broadly. And I think I've certainly have found that to be the case, that your interactions are not limited to, who's in the BFI as if it's a silo. It's really not.
No, and I think, we're situated in the same building as the storied economics department. We're immediately across the street from the Booth
right over there.
School.
We can see them as we sit here.
Exactly. And I think it really is, in many ways, one big community of economists here. Once you add it all up, the number of economists who are in Booth and the department at the Harris Public Policy School and other people on campus who are interested in these issues. It is a large and vibrant community. And
we encourage people such as yourself to take advantage of that. It's not like you're stealing away to go visit somebody else when you're here. That's part of what you're here for.
Right.
I mean, that's the way we see it.
No, I think there are enormous complementarities. I think everyone benefits from having the visitors coming from elsewhere and creating a broader set of ideas that we're all talking about.